Welcome back. As you know, we are experimenting with making titanium Damascus, and I've got some really exciting projects in mind that mean that this workshop needs expanded capabilities, and that can only mean one thing: more machines. And so, a few weeks ago, I drove down the road to go look at a machinery dealer's inventory, crawled around inside their trucks full of machines, and we found some things to buy. Now, before those things arrive, and we get more in depth on that, we need to do a lot of workshop rearranging, because not only did I buy more machines, but I recently decided that I was going to keep our fabulous 1915 Massey steam hammer, which is not just as easy as installing the steam hammer, it also requires an enormous industrial air compressor, which is also due to arrive today. And it motivated me to sell this lovely Burnsdorfer 70-kilo power hammer to another young British blacksmith. So we have to strip this workshop apart, get this Burnsdorfer out, hydraulic press moved to the place of the Burnsdorfer, Massey moved to the right, and space needs to be cleared for absolutely everything else. The press and the Burnsdorfer are off the ground on blocks. We've cleared some space over here, and the delivery driver for an enormous compressor has just arrived. So we've got to sort out a forklift to get it off. I have to say, I'm so bloody grateful to have such awesome neighbors here. It's a treat. Oh my gosh. Goodness gracious, this is a big machine. It's gonna take up half my bloody workshop. We need this compressor exclusively and only for the purpose of running the steam hammer. This is a 40 kilowatt air compressor. 220 cubic feet per minute of compressed air.
It's literally taller than you.
Well, that doesn't take much now, does it?
It must be at least 3.5 foot tall.
What we need to quickly do, we've got to move some other stuff in the workshop. What I want to do is I want to make a little bit of space, take this compressor, shove that up there. Despite having an enormous giant industrial compressor, I am going to still keep and run our small regular compressor. Oh, shit. I just pulled that panel off the wall. Ugh. Could I please have don't worry,
I'm gonna go put the pizzas in. You got pizza for lunch, yeah?
Yeah, it's pizza for lunch. Can I have the ladder though? This is the second truck of the day, filled with more machinery goodness.
Which one's yours then?
That's yours.
Which one's mine? All of them are mine.
Everything.
Everything.
Don't pop a hole straight through
Yeah,
it.
that wouldn't be good, would it? This is a vertical metal bandsaw. I'd love to be able to tell you exactly what we're going to be using this for, but I'm not sure. I saw it.
Saw it?
Hey! I had to have it. Look, it's got a blade welder and everything on it. It's been many years since we've had a surface grinder. I thought it was about time we get one again. Well, this right here is a shear with the aspirations to really take this titanium Damascus somewhere special. I need to be able to cut sheet titanium way faster and sheet steel for those boxes. So I decided a metal guillotine would be absolutely essential. That right there, that's some big boy equipment. That's adult. Should have had something like this a long time ago. That is a dust extractor. What a bright idea. Extract the dust from the grinding room. Wouldn't that just be practical? Jamie, I think this is the stupidest thing I've ever done, and I've done a lot of stupid things. Where are we gonna put it all? Shoot. First important switch around has happened. Hydraulic press in the middle. We've got decent access from this side, very good access here, so-so access there. But the benefit of getting the Burnsdorfer out of here is all of this has now moved across about 18 inches or so. So we've got ourselves another 18 inches of floor space right here. So horizontal bandsaw, evolution chop saw, this has all moved further up. And the amount of space back here. Jamie, we could have a party here. The best part of all of this, of course, is steam hammer is in its spot. It's a nice spot. Next up, vertical bandsaw. And I think it's gonna live somewhere over here. That was heavy. I think the next thing to come in, Jamie, is the big compressor. What the compressor is it's a screw compressor. And in the small machinist or general metal workshop, screw compressors are renowned for how incredibly quiet they are, as compared to the piston-driven compressor that we just put on the mezzanine earlier. This, given that it's a 40 kilowatt industrial unit, requires 60 amps of three-phase power and is just obviously monstrous. You see, this is not quiet, which is exactly why we're still gonna keep that blue compressor, and unless something changes, my plan is to just run this for the power hammer. What we gotta see is how much access do we need to it? Where are we gonna install it? Well, that right there looks just like where our pipe is going to be going out to our receiver tank. Here, receiver tank there, and then it has to dogleg it back around to the other side. Can't believe I own something like this. This looks so fancy and professional. We actually got to move that shear first. All right, so everything is in, not necessarily at its final resting place, for obvious reasons. Everything, as you can see, I mean, obviously this looks pretty. All the other stuff looks pretty rough around the edges, right? But here's the thing, there's a number of ways of buying machines. You can buy a machine out of somebody's workshop, where you can see it running and hear the history of the machine. Expect to pay a premium. You can buy a machine from a machinery dealer, just like I did with this compressor. That gives you the benefit of knowing that they have used the machine, they have experience with these types of machines. Then there's another way of buying machines. And this is how you get yourself deals. There are people that go into companies that have gone into liquidation or gone bankrupt, and they go and rip out the assets of that company, load it all on trucks and clear out those buildings. That's what we've got here. So I was able to get a really good deal on all this equipment if it works. So what we're engaged in at the moment is a little bit of industrial gambling. We need to find out what on earth bloody well works. So we're gonna start right here with the extraction cabinet. Give it a little bit of a degrease and a clean, doll it up some. Can't find any info on the internet about Airmaster. That company's probably gone bust or it does something else now. But you see inside it's got these cotton bags. They look in remarkably good condition. It's clearly quite old. But my understanding how this works is the motor up here drives some sort of impeller that then sucks stuff in through these inlets, and it's then pulled up through these bags where it's filtered. Any exhaust comes out there. And then, once the bags are pretty filled up, you occasionally give it a little wiggle, shake the bags loose, any debris falls down to this catch tray right there. First impressions of this machine, it's definitely old, but it looks in fairly good nick, but we need to power her up. Woo! It's at least blowing exhaust there. Whoa. That's got some suck to it, Jamie. Woo! Woo! Buttons are a bit sticky.
Hang on, it's got sticky buttons right next to this hole, which sucks.
What are they pushing? That doesn't feel sticky. Neither does that. Right, I just broke the switchgear. Now I need to put a new switchgear on it. My hope is that it is temporary, that it is here. I've got approval from my landlord for this to be just behind this wall, but it would require building a little tent for it to keep it out of the elements. But that would be good if it was outside. But before I invest all that time, money, and effort, let's see how it does at clearing the air in the grinding room after some grinding, because that's the big concern here.
Now we'll see what happens when we turn it on.
All right. Bit much, isn't it, Jamie? They definitely look dirtier than we were when we first looked at them.
No way.
Oh my gosh! You didn't think it had done anything!
I thought there'd be nothing in there.
Jamie, it did something! Whoa! Apparently this was maybe a good purchase. Getting that extractor outside is a job for another day. For now, we have our next purchase to look at. This right here is a Startrite. It's missing the plaque. Same brand as this. That's a Startrite Maber. This is a Startrite Volant 24 vertical.
Volant.
You think Volant? Tomato. Personal preference. Spanner wrench.
Burrito, burrito.
Exactly, actually. People think I don't know which direction my bandsaw blade runs. Most bandsaws cut with the blade running this way towards the fixed jaw. This one doesn't. As you can see, drive wheel, arrow, it's meant to run away from the fixed jaw, and our teeth are oriented correctly. No idea why that's the case on this bandsaw, but back to the topic at hand, or the saw at hand. Check this out. This came with it. These are rolls of bandsaw blade. How cool is that? And then you go to yourself, well, goodness, that's hardly much use. It's meant to be a circle. This is just a roll of the stuff. But that's where this is extra cool. Let's see if it runs, and then I want to try welding a bandsaw blade for the first time. I don't know when this is working or not, and I'm very scared because there's going to be electricity there. I don't know how we make sure that's off so that I don't hurt myself. I hate this stuff so much. You, Jamie. On-off saw. Look at it go. It's got some wiggle to it, let me tell you what. I wonder if it wants to be tighter though. How does it get tighter? Looks a little bit better. Speed selector. Currently set to molybdenum steel. There we go, well, that's how we do the speed, I guess. It does have a coolant pump. Where does the coolant live though? Okay, it's a panel back here.
Nothing there.
Are you joking? It's a fake panel. That's the outlet of the coolant pump. That goes through all the way to there.
I think it's not coolant.
You think it might be an air blower?
I think it's an air blower. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Brilliant. Well, blade just popped off. I mean, that looks good. Wow, that just cuts so beautifully and it's so sharp. Oh, that's sick. Oh, I had no idea that was going to be so cool. This is obviously much thinner stock here, right? I don't know what the odds are of me getting electrocuted here. Cut a piece here. Straight and rectangular cut-off ends of bandsaws are to be clamped in such a way that the extremities touch in the middle of the jaws and the teeth lie close to the front stops. Clamp. Welding current 2, upsetting pressure 3. 2. It's doing it! How do I know when to let go? Keep it in this position until the welding joint has cooled down. And anneal by actuating the annealing switch. Is it welded? I think I might need a few more attempts. I keep holding here until it cools down. Oh, what? I think we might have done it, Jamie. You know what this means, Jamie? My frown. Oh. I think I've found the exact model blade welder. Jamie, I don't think we were far off. We've just got to dial it in. Keep holding it. It's then going to shunt forwards, and I keep holding it until it's cooled down. Nice. Then tap once. What type of curve does that have to go around inside those wheels? I think we might have done it, guys. It's very pretty. Clamp again. I'm going to anneal it with a torch. Yeah, Jamie. Obviously, you know, we went very far there. I think it's time for us to actually make up a whole new blade. There's the joint. Tighten it up. Okay, are we ready? Moment of truth. Yes! We've given the bandsaw a good test. This 3/8 blade doesn't quite make it around this curve as well as we'd like, but it did the job of cutting out the logo of a product that I use every single day, and that is NordVPN. It's a virtual private network. So what they have is over 5,000 servers in 60+ countries that work as an intermediary between you and the websites you browse. And I use it every day so that I can preserve just a little bit of my anonymity while I'm browsing the web. My internet service provider, a nefarious government, they could easily intercept the data that goes between me and the websites that I browse. But because Nord encrypts that data between me and their servers, they ain't gonna be able to intercept it. Further Further to that, occasionally, you got to log on to a public Wi-Fi network. I had to go to the bank and pull out some cash. I had to log on to their public Wi-Fi as there was no phone reception inside there. I made sure my NordVPN was up on the phone, logged onto the public Wi-Fi, and felt confident that a man-in-the-middle attack wasn't going to be able to happen with me. Folks, you all know about VPNs. They've been around for a long time, and I've been using Nord for over half a decade. And I hope that you will sign up with them by going to nordvpn.com/forge, because they got a special Black Friday deal. Every purchase of a 2-year plan gets you 4 additional months for free, and of course it's risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, I've been super sad to not have a surface grinder all these years. We had one, then I moved to America and sold it, of course. Never bought one in America, moved back, and I still don't have one here, until now. But as you'll see, on the outside, it looks like a rusty pile of junk. Rust! Everywhere. First things first, she needs a bloody good cleanup. We are slowly making progress on the surface grinder, and we've uncovered a few things. The first was what I thought might be a major problem. At the end of the magnetic chuck here are some hugely corroded bits of metal that looked like they held the magnetic chuck base plate to the table of the surface grinder. See, over here, they're in much better condition, and that's terrifying for obvious reasons, because if this stuff's broken, maybe that means that this is gonna rattle around and come shooting off. But no. On further cleaning, we have found that this cast iron is one solid piece connected to this cast iron table. And it occurred to me that this corrosion could be happening from some sort of reaction between the coolant and whatever was ground. But wait, what if this is a dissimilar metal to that, and we have a little galvanic corrosion going on? So a trusty magnet on a stick reveals magnetic, non-magnetic. See this seam right there? Cast iron, not cast iron. None of this is cast iron. So I think they chucked some aluminium here on the ends, bolted it to the cast iron table, and the result, all these years later, is it has corroded, but it's not a big deal. The worst thing that could possibly happen is this falls off, but it's still bolted on 10 different ways from Sunday. So for now, I don't think it's a problem that we have to tackle on the surface grinder. We can look at some of the other issues. But look at this beautiful name tag. This thing is from the year 1966. This thing is old. We found the electrical cabinet. This obviously needs replacing, and it seems like I can't escape dirty coolant tanks because just a week after cleaning out the Bridgeport, we are presented with this blessing. That is just utter filth. I bet that goes the whole way down. Keen-eyed amongst you will have spotted this. This thing has an integral extractor. So this delightful hose comes down to here. I don't want to put my fingers in it, but there's an impeller back there and more liquids. Yay. Now the front reveals the hydraulics because the table on this thing goes side to side with a hydraulic piston, and amazingly, it seems to move perfectly freely right now. And from the rear, we can see that we have another tank filled with more delicious liquids. That probably all needs pulling out and disposing of too. Now the actual spindle is driven from this motor back here, and she definitely hasn't seen use in a while because we've got some corrosion up here on these ways. Come on. Yeah!
That is an enormous wheel.
All right, now it's time to get rid of these fluids. We've got all that hydraulic oil, all this old cutting fluid, and I just called a waste oil collection company. And hopefully in the next few days, they're gonna come and drop off a couple of barrels. I'm gonna keep the two liquids separate, and then they'll take it away. And it was not as expensive as I thought. Now, after my recent pumping troubles over at the Bridgeport mill, getting the old fluids out of that, I decided I should probably invest in something better suited for it. So hopefully this bad boy works. Otherwise, I also bought this thing and this oil sucker. Nothing's happened. Why is nothing happening?
Wow, this is gonna take forever.
Oh! Delightful. And we've even found some bonus fixings. I wonder what they fell out from. I don't think ever in my life have I been this close to puking from something being revolting. It says left-hand thread, so there we go. Go on. This is a lot different to the setup we had on our old Ajax surface grinder. On our old, much smaller, but not too small, it wasn't too small surface grinder, the grinding stone just went straight on, tightened it onto the machine. Here, however, you see the wheel has come off with all this metal adornment on it as well. And that is because a wheel this large is probably meant to be balanced. This wheel is larger in diameter and at least double the thickness, which means there's a lot of mass to wobble about if it's not properly balanced. And it's just the same thing as with our car tires. Put new tires on, they then balance them so you don't get the old wobble going down the road. Trouble is, having never seen this before, I'm of course a touch out of my depth. And unfortunately, I think it means I'm going to have to buy more things, like a grinding wheel balancing jig. Grinder balancing kit. £286. 5 minutes more research has showed that I need to make two things. One, I need to make an arbor. Two, we need to make a balancing system. The projects are never ending. Good morning, Jamie. How are you? That moustache! Good Lord, it's gonna be you on camera today, you naughty boy. Oh gosh, that's tight. Come on! Still nothing. More heat, I say. Woohoo! Yes! Look at that. Oh, oh, hot, 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 hot. Ow. Woo! At least we got the wheel off here, so I can do a few things. One, I can order a couple new wheels. Two, we can begin to plan for our arbor and balancing jig, and it'll hopefully mean that we can get this thing up and running. For now, I'm really itching to dig into our guillotine, which has already took on a life as storage. We've given it a good clean, let's have a look round. Big motor, very scary looking, not so safe foot pedal. Motor drives this thing. There's gears in there, which actuates this crank. Now, I did go ahead and try and grease up all my grease ports, and the result was I popped off this grease line there. That crank then brings the blades down, which are best seen right about there. And this is one of the things that I looked at when I was buying it. Not that I know anything about guillotines, but I wanted to make sure there weren't any big chips, and apart from a little bit of rust, they look in fairly good nick and they feel pretty sharp. There are some threaded dogs in front of the blade that hold the sheet down just before the blade comes to make sure that it doesn't like get pried up and then break the whole thing. In terms of the mechanical elements, we just have to wait and see when we power it on. Now we should look at the electrical elements because things like this don't fill you with confidence. You don't like seeing that, do you? I'm gonna dig into all these electrics, replace what we can replace, and hopefully it won't be too long before we give it a shot. Right, it's the moment of truth. I'm gonna try and turn it on for the first time. Oh, I hate this. Oh, something's happening, I don't know what. I hear electricity going. Whoa! That's amazing! It worked! Thank you. Keep my bacon safe. This is just wild. One press. Oh. Wow, I gotta get used to that. I press this. That then starts spinning. Actuates the blades. Gosh, that's scary. I think this might now be a winner for the most dangerous. No lathe power hammer. We have a lot of dangerous tools in the workshop. It's time to share some stuff. Start off thin. This is 0.6mm mild steel. Whoa, like butter! That's how the cut turned out. Bloody fine, if I dare say so. I've got no idea what the machine is rated for, but this here is 3mm thick. Shall we? Shall we? I mean, what's the worst that happens? We break our brand new machine. Oh, baby, yes! Just got to reinstall the machine guarding, and we've now got a delightful way of processing sheet metal. Not only sheet steel, but also sheet titanium. I look very much forward to seeing you on the next episode. Can't wait to get this surface grinder up and running. Thank you for being here. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this. Check them out at the link below. Bye-bye.